Good morning, night city, a day in the life. I was on my own, catching a ride with the lady. Her hair hangs down past her thighs, blue and pistol shit. Satisfies, leather jacket, zipped up tight. Big ones coming, look for lost and found. I have been by the night city, where your appetite waits you out your sunrise.
We are live.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
What?
Nu Geekz. That's right.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Nu Geekz. I appreciate everybody showing up, showing love. Shout out to my special guests that are waiting backstage. I appreciate all the Nu Geeks for continuously showing love and showing respect to the channel. Let's see what we got here in the chat thus far. We got Necron pulling up. What's good, brother? We got Bat Dan in the building. Let's go ahead and get to the guest of honor. We got Hold My Dual Shock. How y'all doing?
And you?
Oh, you're on mute there, Andy.
Bro.
I got you now. No, I got you now. You're good.
We're good, man. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Got some hot topics tonight, man. And of course, we have Skywalker the Jedi. What's good, big homie? Let me let him get his mic situation straight.
Man, all right. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, man, I was sitting there talking on mute again, right? But nah, I was like, I'm a cam up in 1 second. I got some stuff that I'm still working on over here. But yeah, much love to the platform, the homie Leon and HMDS as well. I'm glad to be in the building. You dig?
Oh, yeah. Excellent. Excellent, man. Hey, everybody coming in, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. You know, you come into the lair, wipe your feet, show some love, you know. Spread the good word, spread the good gospel of the Nu Geekz. So yeah, this is this topic just kind of sprung to my mind tonight, you know, or actually earlier today, I should say. I was just doing my thing at work and I'm like, man, I don't understand what's happening at Disney. I don't think anybody understands at this point, let alone them.
Yeah.
So I just decided to be corny.
That's funny as fuck.
Also real. They set themselves up. They're in a trap, a mouse trap, as it were, a Disney problem. And I'll, you know, theatrics aside, like we all know this came from the cancellation of everybody's favorite show. Like, what are they doing, guys?
Yeah.
How dare they? I was watching that. Hello. Everybody's favorite show, The Acolyte.
Yeah.
The force was weak in that one. The Acolyte canceled. I love being a corny motherfucker. I swear.
Look at these fucking puns.
I love it. Oh man, so before we dig deep into this, let me just get you guys' initial thoughts on the cancellation of the Acolyte.
It was well deserved, and in all honesty, anyone who was asking for a season 2 was probably a bot.
Yeah, just,
Right.
I mean, or like these Disney consumers who, it's like a fealty test to like how much you can debase yourself in support of Disney and their agenda, because nobody enjoyed it, dude. We get so much pushback, and even when we were just talking about it, laughing about the show, you usually expect to get a lot of people be like, bro, you're just being so mean. Nobody came to the aid of this show. We had like one person like, I watched it. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like that was the resistance of people being like, yeah, this shit's trash.
Yeah, when you can say like, well, I mean, you know, there's been worse, and it's like, oh, that's your reason.
Yeah,
You're
well,
living on that?
it was people who were like blatantly saying they've never watched anything Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, it's actually a great show. I'm like, well, yeah, if it's your introduction to Star Wars, I'm sure you do think it's a great show.
This may even sound like a diss to me, but it kind of sounds like people like me that loved the hell out of Game of Thrones, and everybody's like, wait, what? Why? And then they explain why they think I'm wrong, and I'm like, well, shit, I see why. If I've never read the books, right? I don't know anything really about the lore, and then when you guys tell me about everything, then I'm like, damn. Now, I don't know if I want to rewatch it. You know?
Yeah.
That's exactly like that. It's exactly like if you made a show and you hate the underlying premise of the show, like you hate Star Wars, but then you're shocked that this massive fan base that shows up to like support things, has done for decades, known for spending ludicrous amounts of money on stuff, known for watching things that may not be up to quality because, you know, we love Star Wars, and you go out and you publicly say, if you like Star Wars, this isn't going to be for you because we're just rethinking the whole thing. But it's cool because like Leslie Headland deserves this. But then, yeah, you're shocked that people just didn't show up. That's the level of absurdity I think the Acolyte ran into.
Yeah, it became one of those things where it was just an excuse for, damn, I don't know if I really want to say that, but
you started, so you might as well finish.
I'll just say the blue hairs of the world to usurp something that they just don't love or understand, you know?
Yeah, well, it's for shippers. It was for people who wanted to sexualize Star Wars and like sexualize the dark side and somehow get into that whole aspect of it.
Yeah,
well, that was actually no. Go ahead, Andy.
No, because like I agree, it's for shippers, but it's like the Disney shipper is a specific type of deviant that you don't see on. I mean, they're not like your Reddit deviant. It's like they're the edgelords of deviancy, and what they like to do is they like to take some subject matter that is inherently not for children, where we know what they're trying to say, but then they like to put it into things that could be mistaken as being for children. So when people be like, hey, what is up with that? Like, bro, leave it alone. It's for kids, man.
Yeah.
Like, leave it alone. Hands off. Like, they specifically like putting that stuff into children's stuff. So that way it can't be held in the same standard as like, okay, well, House of Dragon has, you know, deviant behavior and deals with adult subject matter, but it's a show for adults. So it fights on that level. And people who, have that argument can talk about that. But they put themselves where there's just no debate can be had, and they just keep shifting genres to make sure you can't say shit about it.
That's actually, wow. A lot to sink your teeth into with that. Sky, what are your initial thoughts on the cancellation of the Acolyte before we really, really start digging into it?
As you guys could probably tell, I was deeply saddened by this news. I was really bummed out, bro. Because at the end of the day, I think that the quality of content that was gonna come out of people reacting to how bad season 2 was going to be is something that I will forever miss, that I won't get the actual actually see that come to fruition, right? Because I was gonna be waiting to hear what Andy was gonna be having to say, and Katie and everybody, right? And I was wondering how bad could it actually get? Could they go lower than season 1?
Could they?
Right?
I mean,
think the answer is yes. I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we didn't even delve into Yoda, Darth Plagueis. There's so much more that we could have ruined.
Oh man, yeah, they did show the back of his head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they showed Plagueis, bro.
Yep. And she blatantly said Yoda.
Yep. Oh no, so look, but in all honesty, this show should have never came out. I think it should have been shelved. I know that they recently kind of pushed out some Ironheart footage. I think that should kind of be shelved as well. I just think that they can't afford to continue dropping this kind of quality stuff, man. It's just gonna, we're already at a point where I am on the precipice of just not giving a shit at all about Star Wars, right? I was already done with this show, but you about to have it to where I just don't give a shit about this at all, right? And we don't want that. We don't want it to where Skywalker don't give a fuck about a Star Wars show trailer coming out, right? Or a movie dropping, know. Why would we want Skywalker to not care about that stuff? Right? But that is the quandary that Disney has left us in. So I'm not really surprised that this show got canceled. I think it needed to be. This is the first step in the right direction. Hopefully, they can just continue making these kind of forward steps and really fixing what the fuck they ruined with my franchise.
Yeah, I'm gonna play advocate for the show for 2 seconds. I'm just gonna ask a question to everybody on the panel.
Ask it.
Do you think that there were any redeeming qualities at all that the show hold on, let me finish, that the show could have possibly had that could have given us something of quality going into the next season?
Look, I got one thing, maybe, but no, because Soul's dead. Soul was the only cool thing about this entire show, right? I think that man put on a masterful performance, and I wish that we could see him back in Star Wars. But guess what? You can't, because he dead.
And then they ruined his legacy by saying that he offed himself.
Exactly.
So,
it's over.
They even doubled down and made it worse.
See, you're talking to someone who I haven't watched a fucking.
Oh, I forgot.
I'm trying not to cuss too much, but I haven't watched a single second of this. So I'm merely speaking as someone who is almost like a politician right now.
No, they blamed the whole thing on him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro,
I'm
that was the
advocating for
only
both
cool
sides.
thing. No, that was the only cool thing is the actor from Squid Game killed it. He had a masterful performance.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. And I think it's because he didn't understand English. So he didn't realize how awful the lines were.
Right.
No,
I am in total agreement. I think that they could have brought him back, but with him being dead, that's not possible. But yeah, bro, that's about all I got, man. Yo, they're gonna have a baby. It was foreshadowed. It was foretold.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the baby about?
It's gonna be a discount Ezra Miller and what's her face?
Yes, they have these two twins
that
that somehow both of these twins turned out to be terrible, and both of them escaped any scintilla of accountability for any of their actions, right? And they're like, they're
No accountability.
literally, no, it's crazy, bro. How they set it up to actually have them to be able to like dodgeball, dip and dodge their way through the fucking accountability. But yeah, it's terrible, bro. It was a terrible show with a terrible premise. The writing was egregious, just horrendous, disrespectful.
Dialogue,
Awful.
awful.
And like I said, only redeeming quality was Master Soul, but the twins, bro. Oh yeah, the baby thing. I could tell that they were gonna kind of have them be a couple because they foreshadowed it with like a shot of these two birds, kind of.
The twins would be a couple?
No.
Discount Ezra Miller and Osha.
Oh boy, I was about to say, hell
no.
Oh my goodness.
It was the
No, that'd be disgusting.
But right. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them at this point.
Facts.
They're the same person technically.
Yes, they're the same person, but split into two different bodies.
Which was worse, mind you. Which was worse because it's bad enough when they're like trying to rip off like created by the Force, like Anakin, but then they're like they're the same person. It's like, bro,
jeez.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like
shout out to Mama Bear.
What's up?
The show starts off. It's one good twin and one evil twin, and then you have this secret Sith Lord who is obviously discount Ezra Miller, right? And then they end up switching spots. So now the bad twin is with the good guys, and now the good twin is with the Sith Lord, right? And they kind of foreshadowed that they was gonna be a couple with these two little bird-looking creatures that they showed, and I was like, "Yo, these motherfuckers about to start dating." And you keep watching, and then that happens, and then right before this one shot of them in the last episode, you see those same two creatures, but they have a baby, and I was like, "Yep, that's gonna be season 2. They're gonna have a baby," and it's just like, man, this is so ridiculous, bro. Like, it is
not even that.
So disrespectful.
Leslie Hedden did a whole interview in talking about how like the water scene was necessary, and she knew that when they were filming it, it was an integral part of the entire show of watching how Osha gets to see him walk out of the water because he's defenseless
with the naked Sith, right? Yeah.
So that was like super important, you guys. We had to see that happen because it sets up the entire rest of the season.
Yeah.
Because you got to see that's how they come.
So I'm guessing, Katie.
That's the only way you can show vulnerability, guys, is to strip a character of their clothes. Think about the precedents that sets, mind you. Go ahead, Leon.
See, look, I'm not the type of person who, obviously no one on this channel, or we're not the type of people who shy away from shit like that, but it's just like you're trying to fundamentally change Star Wars into something that has never really been ever, just for the sake of getting off on some like mommy P word rhymes with corn. So okay, let me ask you, Andy, Katie, you guys seem to share the same sentiment as Sky. There's really no redeeming qualities, or am I wrong? Is there anything that could have launched into season 2 that you know? Yeah,
maybe one. So it's not redeeming. It's actually worse because it shows that they know that they aren't even making the most. No, I'm serious. Like their new show Plagueis at the end to try and bait you into watching season 2. Yeah. They knew what they were making was trash, and they thought that they could dangle trash in front of us and then take a character that legitimately is interesting, that legitimately wants to know more about, and be like, hey, it's all ads, it's all chaff. You have to wade through the garbage to get a 3-second shot of somebody that you actually care about. Yeah. This whole show, like, they clearly demonstrate that they realized the whole show should have been about the Sith, the stranger, Quamir, whatever, in Plagueis.
And it
Then
should
you
have
have
that should have
yeah.
been the entire show.
And like then you'd have a show that maybe would have been mid, you know, but instead they took us on this weird
Maybe would have been.
because like it doesn't change the writing. Sky's 100% right. This show does not get enough hate for the dialogue. Like people, I'm serious.
No, like
they should
that.
be more upset. No,
Yeah.
he's absolutely, bro. It is,
Egregious, like you said.
yo, that's not hyperbole, right? Like cringeworthy is being nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it is straight up awful.
Yeah, because there's times it surpasses cringe when you're like, there's no way people wrote this. Because is an old enough person. She's been in rooms with other people, and the dialogue it's weird.
I love that you're not even saying like she's been with other like just in your real anecdotal experience. Like you talk to people, dog. Like
you've been to a gas station. You've been to a gas station. You had to like go to a cash register. Somebody's asked you debit or credit. There's no reason these interactions should seem so weird.
Yeah.
Bro. Like no talent, no
And
ability.
sadly, they actually the actors like you're saying, the person who plays Soul, great actor. The guy who plays Quimir is actually a really good actor. The person who's not a good actor is the person who's on screen most of the time, which is Amanda Stenberg, because she's incapable of playing two separate people.
You know what? And I don't want to get too far ahead of this, but you know who got it worse was the actress who plays Jackie. Yeah. She's X-22 or whatever from...
she's Wolverine.
She's Wolverine, yeah, Wolverine's daughter. She's in this, and you see how bad she is, but then you see how good she's delivering her lines. Or sorry,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, how well she delivers her lines in X-Men. You're like, man, she's filming these at the same time. So she's going from Deadpool, having this heartfelt moment with Logan, to showing up on the set of the Acolyte, and they're like, can you say those like you have
Can you
a
ham
syndrome?
it up?
Yeah.
Can you ham it up, please?
Yes.
Yeah. Say it with no feeling now, please. Like, say it like you're reading it. Like, there's a cue card behind you. We want this to be as robotic and awkward as possible.
With a little bit more pork in your voice this time. we need you to really ham this shit up. Like I'm so serious.
With all the swine.
Yes.
we need it all, bro.
And then especially after watching Alien Romulus and watching the dude play like two different versions of the
Andy
android.
and Alien Romulus.
Yeah, Andy.
Playing an android.
Absolutely, yes.
Like fucking phenomenal.
So there's an Alien Romulus character or actor that's inside of Star Wars Acolyte as well.
No. Two different.
Oh, sorry. You're just comparing the two. Gotcha. Understood.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like it's watching someone play two distinctly different characters on screen, and I'm like, how is she so bad?
Yeah.
So, real quick, I just want to.
Just for conversation's sake, I knew this shit was over with the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Jedi. I was like, when I saw that shit, I was like, man, this is not gonna be something that I'm really jiving well with, because that in and of itself, like that started the cringiness for me. Like I'm like
that started it.
It was very.
I feel like that should have
jarring.
finished it. That should have finished the cringiness for you. Like
I
it was
don't really
cringy
remember.
all the way up until then.
I think I was kind of like walking around or talking or doing something or like maybe cooking. And then I really dialed in when the fighting started. And like, I had never seen anything like that on Star Wars. And I was like, bro,
because it doesn't belong.
This is not what I want.
This whole show just doesn't understand how niche they are, how niche their worldview is. Because for the entire season, Sky, how much did they lead you to believe that Soul did something horrendous? Like,
right?
And then you see this woman turn into black smoke, the personification of evil. He stabs him, and every Star Wars fan's like, yeah, no, I would have done the same thing. Yeah, and that's like that is like, Soul did nothing wrong.
I remember that discussion on your channel. Yeah. So essentially, there's a character named Soul, and he's supposed to be the dastardly, sort of
Jedi.
Right, the awful Jedi, right? The bad cop.
But you don't know what he did, right? Yeah.
Right, the bad cop.
You're supposed to like him, but he has this dark secret that is really keeping you from really trusting him.
Okay.
Right.
Then you find the secret is that he wasn't a bad cop. He was just a guy doing the right thing because he saw something that looked
He thought
incredibly
he was saving
evil.
some kids. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Look, Soul's greatest crime was holding that lady accountable for turning into a black smoke fucking monster right after they just attacked some of the other. Yo, there's so, bruh. They had attacked and fucking taking control of some of the other Jedi, bro. It was all type of stuff going on, man. She's turning into a black, huh? Yeah, and her wife is attacking.
Yeah, her wife is literally attacking someone else.
You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
and you're turning into this monster, and then neutralize you, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, he was the worst Jedi ever. It's
and
like,
man, having the mom say afterwards, I was gonna let her go, does not change the fact that you literally just turned into a smoke monster.
It makes it worse. It shows how these writers had to warp reality to fit their narrative. They wanted to seem like he was unjustified in like killing her, but she comes out, she's essentially telegraphing, you're not taking my kid. She turns into a giant smoke monster. Then he reacts in kind. This is after they've sabotaged the door. She's like used her mental powers to take over and demonically possess the Padawan. And so Soul's like, no, enough of this, kills her, and then she, it's her last round, I was going to let her leave. Then start with that. Then
lead with that, lady.
Why are you... What?
Right. I'm supposed to let you. I'm supposed to f around and find out.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm supposed to let you take your final form. I'm supposed to let you take your final form.
Soul didn't kill her. Darwinism killed her, bro. She's
my god. Yo, can y'all look? I don't know if y'all watch Dragon Ball Z, right? But
I literally was about to go there with Goku and the form thing, right?
There was a character named Cell. You know what I'm saying? With this whole time, he kept saying, like, yo, wait till I reach my final form. Like, this ain't even my final form. You think I'm about to be having problems with this guy right now? And I'm just gonna let him level up. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
absolutely not.
Man, you better not turn it into no damn smoke monster around me. Right after you locked us in. Right, man. Yo, I'm so glad that we eating good over on Netflix, bro.
I was just about to say, like, bro, can we all take a moment?
Shout out to Josh.
Because the thing that they said was going to be the knockoff, the Star Wars knockoff, outlived the official Star Wars show. Like, what is up with that, bro?
In time to have his director's cuts come out and be a success. Crazy, right?
And it costs less.
Yep.
What were the news numbers for the final? Was it like how many people watched it? It was like nothing, bro. That's where they're hiding the numbers, by the way, because nobody watched it.
For the Acolyte?
Yeah.
Bro, the Acolyte had half the viewership of fucking Andor.
Which was what? It was also like nothing.
Also nothing, yeah.
So you're talking probably
like YouTube numbers.
They had 75% less than The Mandalorian.
How much you want to bet it had less viewers than just one of the director's cuts of
dead ass.
This linchpin thing for Disney Plus
that people loved so much.
Right.
This linchpin event
that we were supposed to leave remaining on and playing while we go do our laundry and go to work, right?
Hey,
that Leslie Headland had to beg people to watch.
Right.
Right. Hey, the Acolyte was a canon event, guys. It definitely was. That shit was a canon event.
Canon.
And it had way less views than Andor, which is also getting a season 2. Andor was a much better show than the Acolyte, right?
Yeah,
much better. You know,
especially considering nobody knew about Andor. Like Andor failed because it wasn't really marketed. People didn't know. Like it failed as far as like not a lot of people watched it, but people who watched it love it. If not for the controversy surrounding the Acolyte, God, can you imagine? You'd be like 3 people watching the show. It'd be like a Leslie Headland like watch party
from her house. Did a Leslie Headland.
She invites her neighbors, and they're like, "Shit, don't open the door,
bro." Her wife is in this show so much, and she
Yes.
just cannot act. Like, I'm sorry, she just cannot act, bro. And it just really reminded me of the whole James Gunn situation over at
Bro,
DC.
with his brother.
Oh, I was gonna say his wife. How as soon as he popped up over there, all of a sudden she's in all these damn movies. You know what I'm saying? But brother too, that motherfucker playing 5-6 roles in the DCU. You know what I mean? If they got motherfucker on buy one get one sale. You know what I mean?
They just wheel him around on a dolly.
Yeah, bro.
To each part. He gonna play Jimmy Olsen too.
So he finished with 335 million minutes watched.
Yeah.
So they were at the bottom top 10.
That's crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. That's from the whole season.
Whole thing. Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Right.
And how many episodes was it? 8?
8.
8 episodes? Wow.
Oh my God, you're
Wow.
right.
I told you.
All
And he
8.
kept looking.
No,
He was like, there's no way that's right. He's like,
all
there's
8
no way
episodes
that's
amassed
right.
only 335.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, in comparison, The Boys
All
had
together.
1.379 billion minutes watched.
Oh,
Goodness.
Behind
Woo.
Love Island, Vikings Valhalla, behind The Bear. I love The Bear. But that's not a show that gets like a ton of views. Homicide LA, Evil, Bridgerton got more than it.
Yep.
Damn.
That's crazy. Shout out to Bridgerton.
335 million views. That's it.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Yeah, man. But
That's
hey,
nothing.
And the Sergeant makes a great point. People shouldn't be using shows like Star Wars to project their own personal lives into them. I'm gonna have a little bit more to say on that aspect when we get into one of the later topics, because yeah, I swear, man, after that X-Men 97 Q&A, y'all, I just have had a bad taste in my mouth. For sure.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that later as well, for sure.
Did you watch that Q&A though?
Just to spoil it,
bro.
Say again. Have
you watched that Q&A yet?
No. I'm still catching up on your other streams.
God.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Now I definitely have to watch it. I'm have to move that up to the number 2 watch for me.
Dude, so not to get too heavy in the numbers, but like Mandalorian season 3 had 1,000. Yeah, so like 1 billion watch hours. Yeah. Season 2 had 1.3. I mean, and then you just see everything cratering. Boba Fett 880, Obi-Wan 860, Andor 874, Ashoka is 575, and then this is like half of that.
So trash.
Damn.
They should be like, that's got to be loud and clear. Like, people don't like it. Stop it.
So what do you think is going on with Star Wars overall? Because I want to segue into the next topic, but for those numbers kind of made me think, because I haven't watched all that stuff, but I don't think that all of it is just oversaturated with quote unquote woke narratives, right?
No.
I don't think so, right? But they're still kind of cratered downward. So
yeah,
is it more so just a lack of effort? I'm not even trying to be funny here with the whole maximum effort thing, but is there like a lack of effort on the part of whoever's running Star Wars? Is a lack of quality? Because it's easy to say with the acolyte, the woke stuff, right? It's really easy to say that.
Hey,
but
I got the answer, bro. I got the answer.
I'm gonna let you get it off. Go for it.
It's 2 words, bro.
Kathleen
Kennedy, bro. She gotta fucking go. She gotta go, bro. All this shit been her, bro. She gotta go. Like, yo, I have been vexed. Like, I don't understand how somebody can torpedo a franchise more and be able to keep their job.
She has some dirt on somebody, bro.
Shambles, bro.
I was like, she has dirt on somebody, because otherwise they would have kicked her to the curb by now.
Right? Yo,
they both do. They both do.
This is what has upset me. Is because minus this last season of The Mandalorian, I've very much rather enjoyed what Dave Filoni has been doing.
Yes.
Because, like it or not, that dude cares.
Mm-hmm.
He cares about these characters. He cares about this franchise. And he puts a lot of time and effort into these things and trying to make them the best stories that they can possibly be. I genuinely can feel that when I'm watching this stuff. It's tons of fan service and everything, you know, outside of this last season of The Mandalorian, which I kind of give a pass to as well, because that whole movie thing popped up. And I'm pretty sure that once that movie got greenlit, they was kicking stuff down the can like, yo, we can't do that now. We're going to have to kind of just juggle these balls a little bit until we can get to this movie. Pause, right? But yeah, it's like she has to go, bro. This has been her. Like the fucking sequel trilogy, which I still will say to this day could have played out right if they would have stuck with what JJ started with and what Colin Trevorrow said that he was going to do with the ending film. He was like, hey, him and JJ Abrams were in they were in cahoots about where this stuff was going to take off at and where it was going to land. And then you get this movie in the middle that's like this Kathleen Kennedy special.
Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden everything's fucking thrown out the window. Rey becomes a Mary Sue. Right. They double down on that whole aspect of it. Right. And then, yeah, like I knew that she needed to go, bro, when she came out and just recently, when they doubled down on that damn Rey movie. I'm like, who wants a Rey movie right now? Like how disconnected are you to how the fan base actually feels that you would think that some shit like that would go off smooth with the fan base right now?
Bro, when she came out with the Force is female, bitch gotta go.
Yeah, right.
Bro, that's cringe, but I could even overlook that. Sky, I think you're 110% on. Bro, that middle film, you know what it did? It injected nihilism into Star Wars. Because everybody could have overlooked the fact of, like, the Rey stuff. As long as, like, bro, if Rey's like a Kenobi, we're all good. The fans are like, bro, like, this lie that people hate women, nobody had a problem with Rey. I was looking forward to him, like, bro, Kenobi, there's enough from the Clone Wars.
That's what I thought too, bro.
He's going to be a Kenobi. You know, fucking, they brought back, Ewan McGregor to have him talk and say, these are your first steps. Not only is she not a Kenobi, there's no connection. None of it made sense because they built up this thing that, yeah, it was like a retread of A New Hope. But guess what? Kind of like I feel about Alien Romulus, I can overlook that because if you're trying to introduce it to a new generation of fans, maybe who aren't as like hardcore as us, who are watching, you know, essentially what was a 20-year-old movie when we started watching it, then cool, you give them that in theater experience. But then the next film says, hey, none of it matters. We proudly tell you, none of it matters. Kill the past. There is no good or evil. It's all just whatever. You do you. And it turns out that none of that jives with Star Wars. Star Wars is deeply moral, deeply spiritual. It's about good versus evil. And every time they delve into that, it tanks it. That's the Acolyte.
That theater experience of going to go see episode 7, that was like monumental, yo. I remember the hype for that movie was out of this world, yo. And you know, is it a perfect film? No, but I enjoyed that movie quite a bit. I don't have no bones about saying that. You know, I loved Kylo Ren. When he froze that damn blaster thing, I was like, yo, man, I was like, you know, that's what I wanted, like seeing new stuff with the Force that I hadn't seen before, right? And it gave us that feel of the OG trilogy. So I enjoyed it as well. It was a great first step, but they just dropped the ball significantly. I will say to this day, I have never been disrespected more as a film goer than I was watching episode 8. I could feel the disrespect coming through the screen.
Bro, and what's worse is
8 is the last one from the Ray saga, right?
No,
it's the middle one.
No.
It's
Oh,
They
my
had
fault.
one more.
7 is the Force Awakens. 8 is
Yep.
the one oh
Last
God,
Jedi.
yes. That was a weird ass experience for me because I'm not like a huge, Star Wars connoisseur like that. Again, I appreciate the mythos, I appreciate the themes, but the execution has been kind of like
Yeah.
My favorite is always going to be the second one of the originals. That being said, I was like, what am I watching? This is really dumb. And
Bruh.
I feel like my expectations are being subverted. And lo and behold, that was the
that was the theme, bro.
For no
Subversion
reason.
of expectations.
for
At
no
every
reason.
turn.
At
At
every
every turn, right?
I was like, what do we do? What? Like, okay. I'm not even
So-
kidding. Like, I literally remember my homie actually said it first. I didn't say it. He said it. He was like, are they subverting expectations just for the sake of subverting expectations? And I looked at him and I was like, bro, your guess is as good as mine. Because
Oh my God.
he's a huge Star Wars guy. He knows all that
Yeah.
shit.
No,
And,
bro.
shout out to him. And I was
Bro,
like,
you could feel
some of
it.
the stuff they were subverting, I had no, like the snow thing with the red,
Yeah.
that would go over my head because I don't know those details like that.
Yeah.
But then everything else, like, I was like, what are they doing? So anyways.
when they just killed Snoke,
Oh man, yeah, right.
Right,
Like,
like,
what are we
bro,
doing?
bro, I was like, wait a minute, bro. It was literally like everything that y'all thought we was setting up in episode 7. Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Bro, but you're so right, because so I just watched, somebody did a whole breakdown, and it's opened my eyes so much, because we think about this stuff happening in the things that we care the most about, but it's like a thing in Hollywood. They love to let you know they don't care. Like, someone was breaking down, and the example they used is in Game of Thrones. There's a famous scene where basically they've led you up all season to think that they're about to introduce a character, and they have one of the other characters piss on where that character is supposed to show up, just to let you know. It's like, bro, you thought we were gonna bring that character? How stupid are you? That's how the Snoke thing felt. You thought this guy mattered? You spent 2 years theorizing who Snoke is? How stupid are you? You think we care about this? There's no backstory. We aren't planning anything. It's just throwing spaghetti at the wall and calling it Star Wars. And like, being a fan, we all know that you look past the warts and the cracks in your favorite things. Like, you brought up Dragon Ball Z. Bro, I love Dragon Ball Z. But how much do you watch it like later on as a grown up? And you have to look past. It's like, there's obviously filler episodes,
Bro.
but you still love it,
Fucking Goku, you'd be like, yo, I just need to recover for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And that shit will go on for 2 episodes.
Yep.
And you be sitting there like, bro, how long is this 1 minute going on, bro? Like,
But you don't doubt that they still love the material, so you look past it. But at some point, and dude, when you bring up The Last Jedi, that's how I was. I came out of there being like, I felt terrible about it, but feeling this need to be like, maybe it's not that bad, because it's like a lifetime of loving Star Wars. And I remember talking to a friend, he goes, no, that was terrible. And I had to come to terms with it. That's why I get why people defend it. But dude, it's been 10 years of this. There's no redeeming it. They want you to know. They think it's stupid. They think you're stupid for caring about it. No wonder no fans watch this shit. It's like you said, perfect. It's disrespect. They don't care, and they want you to know they think it's stupid.
Well, see, so you guys don't give a shit because you guys are fans of Star Wars. You know the mythos. Me, I'm kind of as general audience as it gets while still being a geek, right?
Mhm.
So not completely, but I don't know Star Wars like you guys, but I was still interested.
Yeah.
You lose you guys, you darn sure lose me. Like, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are the ones that were filling the gaps for me,
Exactly. Like, Andy will sit there and explain to me what's going on, or
Facts.
or why that was so egregious. He's like, I can't believe they just fucking did that. And I was like,
Bro.
what just happened?
The changes
Right.
in Acolyte, I know you're a big Blade Runner guy like me. Imagine
100.
if Blade Runner 2049, after 30 years of playing with this idea of, is Deckard a replicant or not? They're like, bro, you're so stupid. There are no replicants. Those are aliens. Imagine
Facts,
how
bro.
pissed
I'd have been
you'd be like,
mad
what
pissed.
the
Like,
fuck are
what?
you
What are we
talking
doing? Yeah,
about?
exactly. Like, what are we doing? Oh, wow. Okay. I
That's a
feel
great
y'all
comparison,
now.
bro.
Damn. I felt
Bro,
that.
that's a great, bro. All this time, bro, Luke Skywalker, he should be the most badass motherfucker we didn't ever seen.
Yeah.
Right? All this, like, yo, what's his new power set gonna be like? Well, you
Yeah.
know, all these things, right, bro? None of that shit, bro. He died from force exhaustion.
Yup.
Which is disgusting. Like what?
And time again showing they can't hang with the very like things they made non-canon. The EU people just writing fan fiction was better than anything Disney's come up with. And they keep going back to it and stealing plot points from it. This new Rey film is going to be what Luke was supposed to be doing, rebuilding the Jedi Temple. They didn't see fit to let us see that, but now they flush it down the toilet, and now they're just going to rehash it and call it their own. Like,
bro,
terrible.
Thank you for saying that, because not only did the Rey Mary Sue thing happen, not only is she the ultimate girl boss, right? That she can be a Palpatine and a Skywalker.
Somehow.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Not only that, but yeah, she gets to go rebuild the Jedi Temple, right? She gets to go do that instead of the guy that we've been dreaming of seeing do that shit for the past 30 years. Bro, come on, man. We ain't seen Luke Skywalker, what, since was that 82?
Yeah.
When Return of the Jedi came out?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Bro, and like, you know, the guy who plays Starkiller, Sam Witwer, he's like a voice actor in Star Wars.
Oh my, yes.
Guys always
he's like us right now.
Yep.
Every time I hear him, he's destroying Star Wars and tearing them a new one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he still works for them technically, I think. But he was saying, like, bro, you grew up on Star Wars. Luke Skywalker is the personification of hope and decency. Fact. That guy never tries to kill his nephew. He saw his father become the most evil man in the galaxy and still saw good in him. You know so little about Star Wars and its fans if you think you can convince us that Luke Skywalker would be worried because his nephew's having a bad dream. Like, bro, that is so stupid. Right? It makes no sense.
No, because Luke is the one with the bad dreams.
Yeah.
So Luke's bad dreams lead to him trying to murder his nephew.
Yeah.
Which is
the most hopeful guy in the galaxy, bro. Crazy.
Which, you know, he would have taken the opportunity because he would have been warned. He would have taken the opportunity to help the character as opposed to trying to destroy the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the Luke I know. Right? You know what I'm saying? But nah, y'all. Nah. Oh, we had to make room for Rey.
Yeah, and in some ways, The Mandalorian makes it worse because when he shows up in The Mandalorian, you're like, bro, that's the Luke everybody knows. It makes no sense that in a relatively short amount of time after that, he just becomes this dirtbag hobo. You know?
This hermit drinking green alien milk straight from the teat.
That's what I never understood. Like, okay, look, I understand they're trying to they subverted expectations to the point where a guy who was like, he got a swagger back majorly in the third of the originals, right? Like, he looked like a fucking G. He had the black on black Jedi, looking dope. That's my kind of hero. The good guys wear black.
Yo, that's my favorite Star Wars movie for that reason. I love that Luke, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Return of the Jedi. You dig? Yeah.
Yeah. Nasty with it. So that guy seemed like a futurist, someone who would take his abilities, his skills, and then rebuild things for the future, and everything would be thriving somewhere that is untouched by the masses, right? As opposed to jumping around cliffs and grabbing milk. It was the weirdest crap I had seen. I'm like, what is going on? Should I like this? I'm like looking at my homie. My homie's like, I don't know what's going on either, bro.
Yeah, dude. Hold up. Let me see. Yeah, bro. Nah. There is nothing that I have been kind of like overly excited about that's coming from Star Wars recently. Like I said, they had the Ahsoka series that was pretty solid, which also had one of the best episodes of anything Star Wars I've ever seen, bro. So they've had some hits within these past few outings, right? I'm not gonna say that everything's just been totally trash and it's just doom and gloom, but the influence of Kathleen Kennedy, bro, is too much, and I think that it has to kind of be be spoken about exactly the damage that she's done to these Lucasfilm franchises.
For sure. Before we move on to the next topic that kind of bleeds into everything, what do you guys think about this question?
Luis says, what do we think about the Mando and Grogu movie? Yo, I'm hoping that some of those things that were gonna go down in season 3 of The Mandalorian kind of just gets pushed over into this film. I do think that with that Heir to the Empire movie, that's the one that's supposed to like really wrap everything up. But I am looking for this Mando and Grogu movie to be pretty decent. Hopefully, because I have enjoyed that series for the most part. Season 1 was phenomenal. Season 2 was great. 3 was was pretty much a step or two backwards. Especially with the whole Lizzo and Jack Black stuff. That was crazy. But
I forgot
overall,
about that.
I am excited about is the Mando and Grogu movie though.
Did anyone see the like teaser for it?
No,
They supposedly like showed a snippet at D23 that people were talking about. And from what I was reading, they're saying that Grogu is more like on his own and like self-sufficient rather than connected to the Mandalorian. I don't know. My thing, I think they're going to try and put Ahsoka a lot in the movie and make it like a stepping stone to her like season 2.
I hope not.
So,
see, that's what made The Mandalorian good was people forgot like Star Wars has lasted all this time because it made us feel a certain feeling that you could only get from Star Wars. And the sequels didn't have that other than the beginning of, The Force Awakens. They just didn't make you feel that way. They didn't pass the vibe check. And then they just said, let's just strip it down to how you should feel watching. And it's the cinematography. It's the shots that pan showing you, making you feel like you're in a galaxy far, far away. But then season 3, they just threw like Lizzo and stuff in there and makes it feel modern. It's like if you thought you were getting away from it at all, if you thought you were going to see like a metaphor or like a bigger picture idea that maybe breaks down some ideas, no chance, because this is just becoming like a celebrity show where we have whoever's.
And why them?
Yeah, they're
around
around.
Celebrities.
they're around.
It was actually
That's
very
weird.
jarring too. Yeah, and he's absolutely right. It was very jarring because you hadn't seen anything like that up to that point in that show, and with them making Jack Black and Lizzo a couple, it's like, bro, we're just. This is
like
what is going on?
But it's like I'm so tired of seeing these shows and just knowing exactly. It's like a diary entry of the Hollywood writer. And that was the problem with the Acolyte. It's like, it's so heavy-handed. The subtext is, hey, I didn't fit in and I wasn't able to hang and, it's not my fault and everybody was mean to me. Even though they're my friends, the most romantic thing that someone can do is kill all my friends. That's how you sweep me off my feet. If you can't see like how weird and twisted that is, and that's all they got. And that is not how people want to feel when you watch Star Wars. It doesn't matter if there's lightsabers. It doesn't matter if the planets look familiar. It's just, it doesn't ever give you the feeling that you're looking for.
Very well said.
Andy just cooked.
You definitely did. Definitely did. So, my next question is: after the Acolyte's been canceled, to the surprise of no one, and to the dismay of no one, I can't help but think about the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, because herein lies this film under the Disney banner, and it has broken so many freaking records at a rapid pace. It's just if it were personified or made in a way, if I could use an analogy, I should say, it's like Juggernaut, man, barreling through buildings. Ain't nothing stopping this movie, and I'm just happy for it. I'm happy for us as fans and viewers that we can finally watch something without being preached to. And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but what could that be partially why it's successful? And what does the success of this film mean for Disney going forward?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And, there's so many people, we've talked about it a lot, when you guys have been on, like, people don't want Deadpool to succeed. No. Because it doesn't check any of the boxes. It makes fun of those boxes.
And not even that, did anyone recognize that Disney has now taken ownership of all the Deadpool clips and they're actually banning you from using them on YouTube?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Can't even use trailer footage anymore.
None of it.
As they're trying to.
And it's not like before where sometimes certain clips will demonetize you and you can still use them. They're completely blocking your video.
Yeah, you get a warning, nobody will see your video if you use this 3-second clip from the trailer of Deadpool and Wolverine rounding the corner with Dogpool.
That we've been able to use the entire time.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this, because y'all know me. I don't stray away or shy away from tinfoil hats. I wear them bastards proudly. So, we have the Acolyte. If I'm playing advocate for a second, I'm going to answer my own question in my head. I understand why they would want to promote the Acolyte, because no one's watching it. So they want to promote it, right? They're like, whatever, we can put agendas aside, just for the sake of business. Yeah. I need to promote this. No one's watching it. You see it's tanking. You see Deadpool and Wolverine thriving. You would also want to promote that, even though it's promoting itself. You just kind of stay out of its way, don't hinder it. Right. Yeah. Why would you promote something like an Acolyte ad nauseum to the point where obviously you're trickling down some sort of incentive to legacy media, right? So that they can say, Acolyte's awesome. You guys suck if you don't watch it. You'll do that while suffocating the organic fan reaction of the love for Deadpool and Wolverine. Can you guys extrapolate that? What are your thoughts?
I would even add to that and say, for the Acolyte, they were obviously paying Access Media people to write articles going against all of the negative media and press that was for the Acolyte. So all of the
not negative media press, just the audience reaction. Because all the press was sitting there being like, bro, if you don't like this, it's because you hate women.
Yeah, that you're racist, that they were continuing to promote, that even all of the negative reviews were review bombing and were people who weren't even actually watching the show. And that if you had a negative thing to say about the show, there was something wrong with you. Whereas the opposite is happening for Deadpool and Wolverine. The Access Media is writing tons of articles about how
what's wrong with you for liking.
Deadpool and Wolverine is a problem for all of these reasons. Yeah. We recently even just saw an article saying that Deadpool and Wolverine is what's wrong with cinema.
Yeah, that was crazy. They're getting all the
I saw that recently. Yeah, that came out today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday I think. But it's the guy from Succession.
It's the dude who was is Stryker, who actually created Wolverine.
Yeah, from X2.
Yeah.
But I mean,
right,
bro. Again, it's such a dishonest debate, bro. I know, especially when we've talked. I would love to see more Blade Runner 2049s and more art in cinema. it's not like we're picking between Deadpool and Wolverine and
And
great
art.
art. It's Deadpool and Wolverine or like this
The
trash, like the Acolyte. Yeah. It's
Facts.
bro,
Yeah,
like that is a dishonest. We're not, yeah. Go ahead.
No, just real quick. I was just gonna say I've literally had debates, kind of recently, even on my channel, where I had the Zack Snyder discussion, and I was just like, look, and shout out to Mike, but he knows he could be a bit pretentious when it comes to stuff like this, because I'm not one of those people who act like everything has to be avant-garde and it has to be a silent French film from the 1930s. I don't give a damn. It has to entertain me. I have to feel it, and there has to be. I always say this, and it sounds cliche, and it's kind of my little throwaway line, just like passion and art, or passion and effort, passion and quality. That's what I want. Like, you can interchange the other words. Passion has to be there, though. That way I know you made an effort. You tried. You know what I mean? Even if it turns out to be a flop, quality wise, like I can see, like, oh, I can see that they tried. I can tell they tried. Their budget was trash. They're a new director. Their editors sucked. Whatever. Exactly. They attempted. Again, one of my favorite movies, I'll tell this channel all the time. I'll tell the Nu Geekz. I'll tell everybody, is Hackers. I love that movie. It's schlock. I know. But the passion was there, baby. I love it.
Yeah. I think you're 110% right, man. There's nothing more demoralizing than watching something that that the person who made it didn't give a shit, other than what they thought they could say and what they could project of themselves into life. Yeah. Into like from their life into it. Because Hollywood's been wrestling with this narrative that, oh my gosh, poor us. It's so hard. People aren't supporting theaters. Nothing we do works. It's streaming's killed us. Netflix has killed us. And Deadpool shows, no, it's you. It's the studios. It's 100% that you guys will not give like a minimum viable product, something that people can just enjoy. You have to keep going too far and adding all this shit.
Or they ruin it with their marketing. Yeah,
because this is the year, the clapback year. 2014 is the year that audiences say, if you're not going to make good movies, I will. Sorry, 2024. But it's the year that people say, if you're not going to give us great cinema,
2014.
Yeah, I'll exclusively go see popcorn movies because Godzilla movies are crushing it. Yeah. The Planet of the Apes film crushed it. I mean, Twisters was on pace to crush it. Yeah. And all of them have one thing in common, bro. They're not trying to tell you how to think. They're not a diary entry from the Hollywood elite. They're just something to go enjoy.
It's just fucking fun.
Yeah.
Oh, the Planet of the Apes film? It did well?
It did decent.
It did by today's standards, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, actually, that's what's up then. Even though
Bad Boys. Yes. Another thing, just like Deadpool, bro, how much negative marketing did you see for Bad Boys? It's like, bro, people are just enjoying it. Why do you not want people to enjoy it? Isn't that what they claim people being toxic about? It's like not letting people enjoy what they want to enjoy.
Yeah. And then most recently.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it seems like the underlying theme seems to be that if you don't go, for lack of a better phrase, if you don't go woke, then they're gonna try to piss all over your franchise, your movie, or whatever. And it's weird because the studios obviously have the money, the influence, and the backing to tell these people to, hey, cool it, man, chill. I'm trying to make my movie make money, but they don't do it. Like the same studio will have two different movies out. One will be, or a series that's seemingly woke, and then a movie that isn't, and then legacy media will be beating one's ass and the studio is just completely silent.
Yep.
And they don't protect that one. Nope. But they'll send out their wolves to go, hey, you must protect the Acolyte at all costs. You have to, or else. It just begs the question, why, right? I know we're always asking the why about that, but I'm just gonna keep asking, metaphorically and literally, like, why?
I feel like because they didn't want to make Deadpool Wolverine. They knew they had to.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds was going to do it in spite of them.
Yeah.
I think as well. I mean, I think it all comes down to it's if they would, they could, type stuff. And Hollywood has this massive reach, and that's always going to draw the attention of people that want to use it to control what people think. And so that's the true value. It's just propaganda. And when a film doesn't fulfill the needs of the propagandist, that makes them angry. And it shows that, oh, look, it is the propaganda that's a problem. Because, I mean, it's even the same with, like, Western gaming right now. Black Myth Wukong just came out and crushed it.
Killed it.
Which one?
Black Myth Wukong.
A thing
The
that
Chinese
the
game?
activists in the gaming industry have come out and said, oh, it's a problem because of its lack of diversity. To which we're like, dude, it's a monkey. It's the most diverse game you've ever played. Like, I've never played as a monkey before. I've played as a female character. I've played as a black character.
What's it called again? I'm gonna look this up.
Black Myth Wukong. You play as the Monkey
Black-
King.
Oh, from like the old Chinese
Yeah.
legend.
Yeah, it's a Chinese game. They're complaining that it doesn't have enough diversity. And again, it makes me wonder, bro, how would the media handle Crouching
this looks
Tiger,
pretty
Hidden Dragon if it came out today? Bro, I mean, we need to talk about the problematic nature that there's not enough diversity in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's like, well, it's a foreign film. Like, what are you talking about? It is diverse. It's diverse for your viewing taste.
Yes, Journey to the West,
Yeah.
which inspired Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
And wait, let me just add this too. What's wild about a lot of these conversations is they be talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? And then you have something that is based on what it's like a Chinese proverb, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
right? Or
Yep.
like a Chinese.
Yeah, it's
story.
like a proverb, bedtime story. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
right. And so they're getting that, and there's been all these games, where typically speaking, like Ghost of Tsushima, where you're
Yes.
celebrating Japanese history and all this stuff, right? And all this stuff. But where's the game where you get to play as like the masculine black dude? You know what I'm saying? Like
Grand Theft Auto San
where,
Andreas, bro.
right, where we get to, right? He said, yeah, San Andreas and shit. We stealing cars, you know what I'm saying? Gang banging, you know what I'm saying? Hey, all that. But nah, there are some historical black figures that have done some crazy stuff, like Mansa Musa. You know what I'm saying? Like, why has there been no Mansa Musa game or movie? He's like, only the richest guy to ever walk the fucking planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? And we get like no Mansa Musa movies or any type of shit like that, but yet they're gonna be sitting here. Yeah, we got to make everything diverse, which really means demasculinize it, and all types of other.
Andy and I were just
fuckery.
talking about this.
I'm sorry.
Yesterday?
Last
Yeah, we
night.
talked like
Yeah, like last night.
2.5 hours after the live stream was there.
Yeah, we could have had a damn stream. And then I was telling Sky I missed the stream you guys had later because I was like, all right, I'm about to go to sleep, but let me play some Mass Effect 3. I didn't even know you guys were going on. But yeah, we literally, and we've talked about this too in the past, Sky, where hell, on your channel, Hold My DualShock, everybody, you guys are probably from Hold My DualShock for all I know. Everybody in the chat, y'all already know. Go to Hold My DualShock. They're the best. But yeah, we talked about, I challenged everybody. I said, name me 5 franchises with 5 lead black male actors. And then I went as far as to say, fuck it, just name 2. Name 2 new ones. Nobody could, because there are none. And we might have to do a stream, Sky, just dissecting that. The idea that Hollywood, the powers that be that are in charge of entertainment do not want to see a strong black male. They have to be some kind of ism. So they got to be something. They can't just be handsome black dude who got his shit together.
Yeah.
And shout out to Donald Glover. My goodness, his name was escaping me, for making Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was such a dope show. And there goes your strong black male who had his shit together for the most part. You know what I mean? He was a flawed character. Dope character. And that's like one out of how many? I don't know. And they damn sure aren't pushing any of this stuff into the mainstream. I didn't even see a push for that show.
No.
To be honest.
Yeah, not at all. You know, I mean, dude, just on the topic of Deadpool, the fact that there's not an article saying like this type of typical preachy article saying, you know, now is the right time to have a Wesley Snipes spinoff or Wesley Snipes. Because, like you said, don't judge them by what they say. Judge them by their hypocrisy. Because when you see that film do well and you see this enormous outcry, people are like, bro, I fucking love Blade. I forgot how awesome Blade was. Just make a return, like a Logan-style film for Blade with Wesley Snipes. That dismantles their argument. And you start to realize why they don't want to make these films like Sky's talking about. Because they make more money, they get more clicks, pretending like this is the forever war of racial inequality. But like the reason I brought up San Andreas is who didn't play San Andreas? Who didn't love that game?
This day, I don't know if they would write an article today praising it, but that game used to be, it was called like the greatest of the, you know, GTAs.
By a lot, bro. I can't think of a better one, dude. Like,
oh shit, here we go again.
It's iconic. And not only is it iconic, everybody loved it. And it's like in those moments you realize that these people in Hollywood, they're fighting a battle that was over about the time whenever that happened. We can move on. But they'd rather like deny opportunities and, like you said, keep saying like, hey, we can't make the film that, you know, we claim that we're fighting for when it should be simple.
Because they're like, oh, we just can't get the right script. Because you're not trying to write the right fucking script.
And don't act like it takes writing, because I just watched The Acolyte. I know that she'll put out stuff where they're just like winging it, right? Like, what do you mean you can't make the Mahershala Ali one because you can't get the script together? There was no script for The Acolyte.
I know.
Facts.
Bro, not what we heard from Captain America Brave New World. There was no script for that. They rewrote the script twice. Yeah. And then also fired the director at the end. So
that's
I'm gonna be honest. I don't trust anything coming out of Marvel outside of Deadpool and Wolverine, because all of it's made by the studio that gets not enough praise, the Third Floor, the VFX company, because they literally are a writer, director, editor, and damn near producer. Like, they do a lot. Like, they even show up on set physically to address the scenes. Like, they do it all. It's pretty amazing. At the end of the day,
I think they actually, like, for the Marvels, had to find a way to put that script together. Like, that's why the edit's so awful. Like, they had to find a way to throw that together and be like, here's your movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brave New World's going to be an interesting, like, acid test, because from the trailer, I mean, it looks generic. Like, and I think it's a tough act to follow, because, you know, the Captain America films did well because they're like these political thrillers. I have a feeling there's going to be some character that we're not seeing, because the idea of letting Black Captain America just do his thing does not seem, kind of like you're saying, it doesn't seem like it's in Disney's MO. What are the chances he's got a plucky,
it doesn't seem like it's in
sidekick that's going to be
MO?
Well, no, that chick that's in the thing is supposed to be one of the new superheroes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I wonder if it's going to be a vehicle for something else. Yeah, you know,
because it was the Israeli superhero.
We're also going to have that new Falcon making his debut in this movie as well. The kid,
a new Falcon.
Yeah,
that's stupid. That sounds so dumb.
Yeah, the kid that was in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show that he gave his wings to.
I ain't watched that, brother.
Yeah.
I was. I never watched that.
Am I the only one up here at a watch that show?
Probably.
Oh man, crazy.
That's a resounding yes.
No, and what's wild is, oddly enough, I'm gonna give this show a chance, and I mean this movie a chance, and I told Leon why. That show, you could tell that it was really cobbled together post pandemic, because like there was clearly a vaccine angle that was taken out at the last second. Like, you could clearly see
help themselves. They just can't help themselves. Oh my god!
You could clearly see that like some big angle or like plot point was removed.
Bat Dan.
from that show, right?
Oh, real quick. Pat Dan says,
I hope
Brave New World fails. I hate Anthony Mackie. Hey,
I feel it.
We already know because he hated on Man of Steel.
100%.
So
Bro,
yeah, you know,
he ruined Altered Carbon.
Terrace House guy's ears just perked up,
Yep.
and he just like
he
like
ruined
real
Altered
recognize
Carbon.
real, yeah.
So.
Hey,
man.
he ruined that Notorious movie because I don't know who the hell thought it was a good idea to cast
Bro.
him as Tupac. That was
Awful.
crazy. That was that might be
He
the
was-
worst miscasting I've ever seen in
he
my
was
life.
2
honestly
packs
speaking.
of ass, is what he was.
Right?
Garbage.
Just not good.
But I will say this, even with that show kind of being, it was like mid to okay, right? It
This
did
comic
have
gets a gold
those
star.
2 scenes, which really messed me up because I thought it was done very well. It was a scene with Isaiah Bradley, who was the first Captain America, who you find out who was actually black, right? And he's actually in the trailer as well. He is the one that's attacking the president. Yeah. And also there was a speech that he gave at the end of the show where he was kind of talking about being like a black veteran and stuff like that. So it really did touch me, and it kind of hit me in that way, which is a very niche thing because I clearly understand that everybody's not black and in the military, you know what I'm saying? But that shit did hit me though. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
I can understand that, but like
for real, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But what you said about
I'm gonna check the
vaccine
movie out.
network, I'm gonna give it a try because I like the Captain America films. But I got a feeling that Disney's everything's the launch pad. You know, it's
Dude, 99.
Yeah.
There's tons of red flags.
Yeah.
They literally had to rewrite multiple times. They
Absolutely.
did refilming for 3 months, which just reminds me of the Marvels all over again. And on top of that, there's rumors that they literally let go of the director because he was not a part of any of the press stuff.
Yeah.
Which means that they're now trying to cobble the movie together on their own.
But what you said about the vaccine stuff is so crazy because you know what that makes me think? Like, that just isn't that like the personification or whatever of what's wrong with Disney? They're like, if you imagine a drug dealer, and the drug dealer thinks that he's this amazing salesman, and he's like, I'm gonna go start selling cars, and it turns out he's really good at selling because his customer base can't help themselves
because they're addicted.
and Disney has gotten but you know what I'm saying?
Cooking right now.
Like, Disney's gotten used to an audience who I can make the worst film ever, but if I wink and nod and say, make sure you get the vaccine, they're gonna like seal clap and they're gonna say it's the greatest thing ever because it's not about quality. It's they need to see their shit resonated on screen. And now that those little fads have all kind of passed by, people, they just don't know how to connect with normal people.
It's weird how they'd rather connect with agendas and propaganda than the fucking people who have the money to buy their shit. That being said, I just want an excuse to use this drop. We are live.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
What?
Nu Geekz. That's right.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, that one. Shout out to Matt. Welcome to the chat. That's the photographer, homie, right?
That is Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on, Matt? Yo, that dude took the most epic photo ever known to man. You know what I'm saying?
Hang that bad boy in the Egyptian. You feel me?
Right.
So, you guys, I need to go edit, otherwise we're not going to be able to put our video tonight. But Andy's going to stay on. But I just want to say goodbye and not be rude. But it was nice
Bye.
meeting you. Sorry,
Bye,
I got to go.
Felicia.
I got to go.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, Katie. I'm glad you feel better.
Thank you. I'll see y'all
Appreciate
later.
you sticking around and leaving.
Katie's lying. She's their chicken pot pie she and Peter cooked is done, and she smells it. That's
Oh, greedy ass.
The chicken pot pies are done.
Sky
Yeah,
knows.
but-
The first time we ever met him, she was trying to eat on screen. You remember?
Facts. Yeah. I remember.
I ain't gonna lie. I got a little fat in me too. You feel me? A little fat kid in me because I damn sure was like, be right back backstage. And I was damn sure getting some food off the stove. A little behind the scenes information there.
Right.
Oh man.
Yo, but you've been cooking, Andy.
Oh,
that's
for
so
sure.
true. Right. And that's why it's so crazy that even with something like that, or those two little moments on Falcon and Winter Soldier that just really resonated with me. That's the only reason why I give a shit about this Captain America movie. But you see what that does, right? Like, you give me a little something to, hold on to, and all right, cool. I'll actually come check this out. Because, yeah, it was, those two moments they really got to me. I ain't gonna even front.
Yep.
You shed a tear twice.
That's pretty powerful.
Yep.
Catching up
Look,
with the
and
chat.
Sin
Civil
Havoc
War
says
was bad.
the vaccines and viruses and different types of soldier serums were cut out in episode 3 when Sam, Bucky, and Zemo were talking to the doctor who was CIA and Hydra. Yeah, it's like brought up, and then you like see, or I think it was in like episode 1 or something where, you see like a vaccine like case or something, or like some big thing filled up, and it just never came back up ever again. And I was like, wait a minute, that just seemed very weird. It'll not follow up on that, right?
Hollywood pissed me off. So, and this goes to show the frailty of Hollywood and where they view themselves. There was a show called Utopia a couple years ago based on this British show. So it's about these nerds that are chasing down a graphic novel about this illustrious thing. It's a dystopian graphic novel. So as you'd all probably love it too, because it kind of resonates with home, caring about comics and stuff, brings this ragtag group together. Turns out it's predictive. And it's predicting this government plot to end the world where they use a vaccine, but they create a fake disease to get people to take the vaccine. And it's got the American version had
John Cusack.
John Cusack, yeah. And he's this like Bill Gates type, this super billionaire who's making a vaccine, and the vaccine sterilizes you. Now that's fiction, right?
I did see the trailer for this. Now that I see John Cusack,
I really enjoyed it. Really cool, like right up my alley. I love conspiracy theories. They canceled the show because they were afraid of how it would make people question what was going on with the vaccine at that time. And you start to think about the layers of absurdity, because so now we can't have art that is questioning of establishment because it might make people less compliant to doing what they're told. So, I mean, it's at the most base level. It's just, do you think people are
literally telling society that they are the other arm of the government?
Yeah.
Like, let's come on.
Yeah. Propagandists.
Can I please say something, Leon?
Oh, yes. The floor is yours.
What Andy just brought up is exactly why that prior argument that was being made that, Hollywood don't really care about what goes in these movies like that. That's why that shit was so egregious, bro. Right?
Wait, there was an argument made for that? Because everybody should know that's BS, because we know that
we was talking about the Zach shit.
Oh,
and I was like, bro,
yes.
I was like, bro, the shit that Zach be putting in his movies,
before
they don't necessarily want that being put into the zeitgeist. And I was told
we were killing them on that.
Hey man, like, I don't really think it's that deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like,
I'm gonna add something to what you're saying real quick before I forget. I think I did forget. No, I didn't. I did. Damn it. Oh no. I'm not gonna say the government acronym. I try to steer away from saying the government acronyms. I'm just weird like that. But there's a particular government acronym that's intelligent, if you will, and they pretty much you have to have the movies pass through them first before, and they approve it. Them and that shaped building that I'm not gonna name, you know. Yeah,
The
literally,
trapezoid.
like that's a thing. Yeah, exactly, the trapezoid, the Romulus. It has to pass through.
What did the Romulus have to
Alien
say?
It has to pass through that
The
building and that
hexagon.
acronym in order for some of these movies to be approved. And that's when I remember when I heard that, I was like, get out of here. That's absurd. This is when I was like a kid. I read up on it, and I was like, there's a history of it. It's insane. So yeah, of course, like that's not even up for debate. They literally do this.
Yeah.
So anybody pushing back on that, like you're just brainwashed, or you just want to live. You want to take the blue pill. You want to be homeboy from the Matrix that just wants to eat steak and think it's steak when it's really not steak.
Yeah,
exactly.
But that makes perfect sense, because not to be that guy, but do you guys know what it was like to live the life of an ancient Greek? Because I don't, you know. But you know what we all know? We all know the stories of Hercules and, you know, their myths. So stories and like outlive civilizations by an enormous degree. That's how powerful stories are. You think that these people who want to control everything are going to let a story not be curated when we can spread stuff through the internet? Like, no chance.
Yep. Through the filters of the other arm of the gov. My goodness. Speaking of shapes and all that, I don't know how this goes into Alien, but horrible. I'm going to be known for my horrible segues. That's fine. I'll live with that. I almost wanted to be my thing. Just shitty segues. But I wanted to continue the conversation of the way Disney has kind of pushed themselves into a mousetrap. They trap themselves. They have no choice at this point but to reevaluate themselves. I'm just wondering if they are going to, because the fans, the viewers, the consumers, the people who, you know, that have patronized them, if you will, giving them their money, they're forcing them to. Are they going to bite, though? And I think the latest success of the Alien franchise kind of bleeds into the Deadpool situation, because here we had Marvel going through a huge slump. Like huge. Everything was supposed to be the MCU, right? Just like the Force is female and all this other stuff, right? They're trying to force messaging and basically fit a square into a circle. And now you have the Alien franchise that was going through a slump, you know, that had nothing really to do with being woke or broke. It was just, you know, the franchise was kind of sort of lost its identity in a sense. And now you have Romulus seemingly about to hit major success. It's doing well. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that kind of fits into the narrative of what's happening with Deadpool and Wolverine? Or do you just think this is just kind of a one-off situation where it's just a franchise that's kind of seeing better days all of a sudden?
As for me, I think that it all depends, right? This can be like the start of something beautiful. As I said during my Alien Romulus review, I want not only more from what this is doing, but I also want that third Ridley Scott film. Because I really do think that he should be able to tie up that storyline. There are a lot of fans of those two films, yo. A lot of fans of Prometheus
got slandered hardcore, man. I actually really like Prometheus. Like just as a film in and of itself, away from Alien, it's a damn good movie.
Yeah. I just think that Ridley Scott kind of did that film a disservice when he came out so early and kind of was talking about how it was an Alien prequel. Right, that just really set the expectations in a bad way, and I think that had he let the fans kind of figure it out, right, we probably would have been much better off having it play out that way, rather than him coming out so early and saying, "Yeah, this is an Alien prequel," because everybody was like saying, "Yo, we're gonna find out about how the xenomorphs got there, and then it was none of that, right? So, yeah, they can learn from these two films, Joe. They really can. I think that they should be smart and double down, get a new Alien Romulus movie going, bring Fede Alvarez back, bring that whole team back, and also get this last Ridley Scott Alien Paradise Lost film, get that made, and hey, let's just really go ahead and just have this and look, then who knows if the Romulus sequel is successful, is then you can just keep kind of branching that out while you still gave Ridley Scott his trilogy to go ahead and wrap up his story, right? So I think that this could be a win-win for both. If they're smart, they will take advantage of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't understand. Like, I've seen so many people compliment Alien Romulus, and yet there's some people who say they hated it. I don't know what there is to hate in that film. Like, as a film,
yeah, I don't either. Like,
and
just
so,
that you would hate.
Someone of note was well, excuse me for sounding far away. Someone of note was Robert Meyer Burnett, if I'm not mistaken, right?
what's that?
I believe so.
Yeah, I was saying one of the noteworthy objector of the movie was Robert Meyer Burnett, right? He was like, he was like, nah, he wasn't feeling it, right?
That's crazy. Because think about this, like, I think, man, like, this is like a changing of the guard. In addition to like just the basic mistakes that all these studios made by picking a side where you don't need to. You don't need to. It's like the first rule of just everything. Just, don't talk politics at the dinner table. Just, don't piss anybody off, especially when you're trying to entertain. Just be likable. Nobody expects you to be picking sides. And then on the other side, you have this weird contingent that wants all these old franchises to die with them. You saw it with the Ghostbusters movie. You saw, not that they're great, but Alien Romulus at its core is a lot like Twisters. It's like a 1.5. It's kind of a sequel. It's kind of a retelling of the first film. Story beats wise, it goes along the same lines. If you want to criticize it for anything, it's the same as like The Force Awakens. It's not that adventurous. The last 20 minutes feels almost like a shot for shot of the original Alien film. But at the same time, people keep forgetting how old Alien is. Like, I never got to see Alien in theaters. I got to see Alien Romulus, so I got to experience that. And I think that there are normal people who understand that there's a balance of shifting and revitalizing these things where you have a film like Alien Romulus that can help spur life into it, get people into that habit of, oh man, I was in theaters, I was terrified. I like it. Like Sky said, I want to see a part 2, which I'm all for because I also want to see the third installment of the Prometheus franchise. I don't understand the movie looked phenomenal. Just the way it looked. Nobody should, like, even you see a film that looks that good, you're transported. So
yeah. Oh no, absolutely. Like, it felt like I was there, and you're really transported into that world. And that was one thing that I was really trying to touch on when I was speaking about this film, is that the production value and the sets were amazing. They were amazing, and it really transported you into that world, and just had a great atmosphere overall.
Yep. And so then it makes me wonder, there's 2 reasons why anybody, and again, it's a huge commercial success. So just like Deadpool, huge commercial success. I can only think of 2 reasons why there's pushback against a film like this. People saying Fede Alvarez didn't do his own thing. It's not his place. Bro, this is an established franchise. And I can totally see why other people in the Hollywood, in the Hollywood space would be upset that a director didn't try and just turn it into their own thing, because that seems to be the only thing they're interested in, is subverting expectations.
That would be like getting on Denis Villeneuve for making Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, and not making it his own. It's not his place. People don't love that. So credit to Fede Alvarez for
That'd be
knowing
the most
it's-
not his own movie that Denis Villeneuve has ever done so far.
Be respectful and make it, if you love it, recreate the things you love. And then on the other side, I think the other big, reason that there might be pushback is Alien Romulus was cheap. They spent less than $100 million.
Yeah, it was like $80 million, right?
Yeah, $80 million, and it looks amazing. Just like when you saw the pushback for The Creator, just like when you saw the pushback for Godzilla -1. It's like everybody who's getting their checks delivering on crap and self-serving, bullshit in Hollywood seems really threatened when someone makes a movie cheaper. Our guy makes movies cheaper and they hate him. And they hate when you don't take something and corrupt it to be a representation of you. Because nothing on Alien Romulus should be getting anything other than just at the lowest thing you can say is like it was just entertaining, but it didn't revolutionize the genre.
Absolutely. But even still, I think he did a wonderful job of because one, not only is it not his place to kind of make this his, but also he was the first one that kind of bridged all these different types of films, right? Because Alien is one type of film, Aliens is another type of film, Prometheus is different, right? You got totally different you have the engineers and all that stuff, and he was the first one that really kind of bridged all of these things in this way.
Yeah.
Right.
Really?
And yeah, man, because
I can't wait to see this now.
You know what?
Look,
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that was one of the main things that I had wanted from this film going into it, was because they kept saying how this is definitely inspired by Alien, right? But I was like, hey, you should have some fan service in there from these other films. And bruh, there's even kind of some stuff in here from Alien Resurrection. So it's it's literally from all of the movies, bro. And I just think that he did a fantastic job, and I can't wait to see more. So, and last point, Andy's absolutely right when he says anybody that just outright hates this movie is capping, because this is not a movie that I think that you can just hate like that.
Yeah, there's nothing to hate in it, but bro, you're so right. And I just realized I haven't given Fede Alvarez enough credit because, dude, the Aliens franchise is one that has these different families all over the place, all fighting for what they want in the franchise. And bro, Fede Alvarez, if Ripley Scott is the founding family member, the patriarch, and you have all these warring factions, bro, he's the consigliere who took it and he put all these ideas into one film and showed there is a path where we can have Prometheus stuff, Alien Resurrection stuff, and then those old school, the original, Alien 1 and Aliens, where it can all move forward. Because that scene where you had, without giving too much away, a character comes back and they mention the black stuff, that shows that there is a way forward for Prometheus without it being contentious.
Yeah. Yep. It's right there, and yeah, it's just it was a dope film, and it really had me walking out saying that I not only wanted more of this, but I want that third film from Ridley Scott as well. Absolutely.
Well, that's what's up. You guys giving a glowing recommendation of Alien Romulus. I'm just wondering, what the real, why are people coming against this movie?
How does it only have an 82 critic score when the Acolyte introduced their first critic score was a 93? And again,
that's what I'm saying.
Judge them by their hypocrisy. This film has it all: female lead, diverse cast.
But that's the thing. I think with all the movies we just named, outside of the show, the Acolyte that got canceled. Yay! No, I'm just kidding. They're hitting all the check boxes. You know, strong females, check. Black people in diversity, check. Whatever. Like the basic little check marks are being, they're there. So what is the problem? Do we need to go deeper? Is there a narrative that needs to be there? Do you need to be trying to push some sort of agenda? Because in these movies, there's a lack of the things that I just said. You know, there's really no political agenda. There's no underlying narrative of what we're gonna say.
Yo, I got one for you, Leon. Bro, apparently, because I think that it was probably you that was in my chat, Andy, during the Alien Romulus stream. And bro, this guy, like, he wanted me to be upset about something in the film, right? Because there's something that happens like very early where Andy, the black droid or whatever, he's kind of like victimized in a certain way.
Oh,
yeah. And
how did I hear about that?
We talked about that on Kitchen Monday.
Yeah,
I brought up your stream. I was talking about it because I was
Yes.
like talking about how awesome it was that you were like shooting this cat down for being stupid.
yeah, bro.
Yes,
because it's
because
like
you said he was a synthetic, and he was trying to make it like about racism.
I'm like,
So
bro,
explain that without like spoiling, I guess. But
I don't think it spoils anything.
no,
yeah, I don't think it
not
spoils anything.
spoilers.
But yeah, go ahead, explain
like,
it.
It's like super early in the film.
Yeah.
Andy, who is a black droid, he gets attacked and
Andy,
kind
you're a
of beat
black
up.
droid.
Huh? Yeah, right.
Andy's a black droid.
He gets kind of attacked and he like seizes up, and it's something that kind of happens at various points throughout the film or whatever, right? But yeah, so when I saw that, you know, and they even said it like, oh yeah, you know, they're calling him names because he's a synthetic. And with my knowledge of the Alien franchise, all of the synthetics have always been talked down upon and thought of as less than in every single film, right? So when I'm watching that, like, I even had to tell that dude, I was like, I wasn't watching this movie like under the veil of like race. When I saw that happen, I was like, oh, he's a synthetic. That's how they treat the synthetics, right? And that was it. And there is some other synthetic characters that get kind of similar treatment throughout, even in this film. That's why I was like, bro, like, if we're gonna say that this is and he tried to say, oh well, that's what the writer said. I was like, I don't give a shit what the writer said personally. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly speaking, because me knowing this franchise, it's like, yo, that's how they treat the synthetics. So if we got to say that that's racist, we got to say that all the synthetics. I'm like, Bishop and Aliens, was that racist then? Because they was doing the same shit to him, bro.
You know what it kind of reminds me of too is that, like, not to sound like a Zack Snyder cultist, but the interview he did with Joe Rogan when they were discussing the gay 300, this, that, and the third, and you know, Zach was being an old lefty and was talking about how gay it was. I'm just like, no, it's not, Zach. Like, shut the fuck up. Like stop it. But like, I'm not gonna fault Zach or go against Zach or talk trash or even adopt that line of thinking just because he said it. So yeah, just because a writer or director says whatever they say, some of that shit's PR, some of that shit might even be really from their heart, but that's not how I interpret it when I watched it, you know. And just like that's not what you guys interpreted when you guys watched it, you know.
It's also just incorrect. It's like, bro, they're human. He's incorrect. Like, and I love Zack Snyder. That's not true. Like the stuff about 300 and the Spartans, that's not true. That's not the connotations of that stuff. There's many historians who actually know the history of the Spartans. It's like, bro, that's just not what you think. But again, Hollywood, same with like the whole stuff with Alexander of Macedonia, latching on to the homosexuality angle. My guy, at best, you have to say sexuality was conceived of differently back then. And which case there's no value in trying to
Say
equate
that
it to
again. The
modern
noise
stuff.
blocked your words. You said sexuality was conceived as what?
It's just a different conception of sexuality back then. At best,
Right.
that's your best argument. And if you rely on that argument, then it can't be extrapolated onto modern consequences. So it just, yeah. But I mean, sometimes you have writers who are just wrong. And like I think Sky says, like, I don't care what the writer says. That's just not what Aliens explores. Like, it's post-racism. It's
kind of like, just piggybacking off of Zach just for a sec, it just made me think of when people were saying, oh, when Cyborg walked past that couple, it was very like race driven, and I'm like, he's a large cyborg with a glowing red eye, in a hoodie, walking at night. He could have been a white dude. You think that was race? Like, I get it, but come on, like, not everything has to be a racial, I don't know, socio-political agenda, you know.
But those are the low information fans that they've been courting, where it has to be that basic. And these people, they can't understand themes. So you can say, I mean, again, they're all connected in these franchises. It's like watching Blade Runner. The replicants, yes, they're discriminated against. And you can say that you're watching a basic story of discrimination.
Right.
But that doesn't,
like X-Men.
Yes, like X-Men. That doesn't mean it's about racism. It's about discrimination, which racism falls into. We can take 1,000-foot view and address all racism and come to the same ideas without having to make it so locked into our time where all the conversations become, hey, did you see how they tackled racism? No, I didn't see them tackle racism. I saw them tackle discrimination. And if you don't know the difference, you're probably not qualified to have an opinion on the matter. Because just like Sky says, it means you haven't watched every other Aliens film.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, bro, that's just not what I got from that. I was like, dude, like I was sitting there watching a movie in the theater right along with everybody else, and I'm like, hey, it's just not what I got from it, you know. It's just not what I saw.
That guy kept doubling down. He was sure
right?
He was gonna like get you to side with him and be like, oh yeah. Like,
my thing
bro.
is,
like, no, bro.
I don't have context. Like visually, I don't have context because you know I haven't seen it. But even if there was, why would he want you to be mad about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, some characters in movies might be given racist treatment because that's just what's happening in the damn movie. Does that mean I have to be upset about it because I'm black?
It's like the joke about your millennial writer is so sensitive. They want to write the most evil person in history. They're like a genocidal maniac, but they can't bring themselves to use a racial slur because that would be too mean. And it's like, bro, I thought this guy's evil. Like, bro, like.
My goodness, you reminded me of a panel in comics that I hate where Joker was like, he's like, I'm crazy, but I'm not racist. When he was going up against like Red Skull, I was like, the fuck out of here, bro. Like, come on, man.
So,
like say word.
So think about that though. The unintentional implication of that, right? So we should all be sitting there and saying like racism is an idea rooted in illogic, correct? And the greatest form of illogic would be to be crazy. So to separate, I'm crazy, but I'm not racist. Are you insinuating that there's some underlying logical, bro? Like, why would you say that? Like, it's just a clumsy statement that can be.
And when I see people like, let's say on Twitter X, you know, use that as a meme to virtue signal, I'm like, you just signaled to me you're an idiot.
You really thought you was cooking, huh?
Facts.
Like, you really thought you was cooking with that post.
That's got to be the single dumbest panel, at least in Batman franchise history. That's got to be the dumbest written panel ever. I'm crazy. I'm not stupid. Like, or I'm not racist. Like, come on, bro. Come on.
And by the way, the Joker, everything he does, he's not just crazy. He's maniacal.
He's nihilistic. He's depraved, evil, satanic often. Like, word. So you're all those things, but I love black people.
And he's
Some of my
Joker.
best friends are black.
Yeah. Bro, that's so true. It's like the Joker's wheeling out. He's like, call me what you will, but don't say that I'm intolerant of other cultures, you know. He's Joker,
Tyrone,
kind of racist, you know.
get Harley on the phone, Tyrone.
Like, how many microaggressions did Heath drop, you know, when he was pulling that pencil trick, you know? Talking about
And he killed all them black people.
Yeah. The Joker's like, I could never, because
a joke that could be racially charged. Did your grandma buy you that suit or some shit? You gotta be grandma. What you trying to say? All black dudes are raised by their grandma? No. Yo, like when he said that to him, I loved that line because I was like,
to buy a suit for his grandma. That's what he said. He said,
yes.
He won't be able to buy a dress for his grandma or like something.
I felt the racially charged nature potentially of that joke, and I loved it because I was like, of course the Joker would say something racist. And look, that's just my perception of it. I almost wanted it to be racist. I love that line because I'm like, oh, he's baiting the shit out of this guy.
Yeah, he's gonna say whatever gets under. He's a provocateur. Everything he does in that film is to upset, but he's not gonna go so far as to say something that might be racially insensitive.
I want a Joker to go as far as to say, just hit that. I would have fucking cried in the theater laughing. But anyway,
that's the Batman film they're not brave enough to make, you know.
Facts. Speaking of not being brave enough to make something, goes to our last topic of the evening. The topic that can't be touched by social media. The X-Files. Did a company with pride fire X-Men 97 creator for being too proud? My goodness. At least that's what I got from it. So, give my little preface. Everything I've been seeing about this is odd, to say the least, right? So, innocent until proven guilty is what we should be living under, but that's not how it works in Hollywood. Apparently, Bo DeMayo did something weird and did something egregious and highly inappropriate, according to everything we've read, but no one's detailed anything. We're just hearing descriptive language without actual crimes being illustrated. And Bo DeMayo has come out and said, essentially, you know what? I'm going to pull it up, actually. While I do that, because Sky, I'm sure you're pretty in the know on this topic, correct?
That I may be.
Absolutely. Why don't you give your thoughts on the subject while I pull up these tweets?
Absolutely. So, obviously, with my history kind of dealing with, all this Zack Snyder fan community stuff, I'm used to seeing slander campaigns take place. Typically speaking, when a whole bunch of different people come out all at the same time with the same narrative, something is awry, right? So obviously, when I had first heard that the pretty much creator of this X-Men 97 show was being ousted before it even dropped, I was already kind of troubled for what the ramifications of that would be long term, and I think that now, since I've seen the show and I went to that Q&A, I think I'm a bit more kind of steadfast on what my feelings on the situation are. It seems very weird to me that nobody can explain what has taken place with this guy, what he did exactly. And they are leaning on statements like, oh, well, everybody that went to HR and complained. And I saw people trying to stick to that, like, oh, so people went to HR and complained. bruh, people that went to HR on me, bro. Like, people do not like me. Yo, there's so many different reasons that somebody could go to HR, right? And you know, it could still be if that company or said entity would get rid of person because of certain allegations. That don't even mean that they were true. You know what I'm saying? So like, yo, like I've had things said about me to HR that have been totally fabricated, egregious. You know what I'm saying? For people trying to save their own job, right? By trying to throw somebody that they know is more kind of settled with the company under the bus, right? Like, no. Like, we're not gonna sit here and pretend like this shit don't happen. So just because somebody went to HR, that's not enough for me personally, right? Like, I need some receipts, right? I need
Facts.
some receipts, bro.
You know what's interesting? Because like, I'm glad you highlighted that too, because I remember I put in one of our chats about how one of those accounts, it's one of those nerdy accounts, and he's like, oh, they went to HR, so that means something must have happened. And I'm like, you don't understand. The lawyer's being transparent. His lawyer, DeMayo's lawyer, is basically saying, yeah, someone went to HR. None of the crap that you guys have been floating around, that you guys have been saying he's accused of, it are the things that they went to HR about at all. I dare you to go ask Disney about it. That's what the lawyer is illustrating. That's pretty much what he said. I'll get to that in a second. But I just wanted to read this. Let me pull it up for me so I can see it better. So X-Men 97 creator Bo DeMayo was fired over, misconduct allegations, according to THR. Marvel Studios' statement on his termination. Following an internal investigation and given the egregious nature of the findings, we severed ties with him immediately. Egregious. Like, come on, man. You guys let go of a dude he's a pedo enthusiast at best, jokes, quote unquote, and then rehired the dude. And we knew why. You can't tell us why you let go of this dude? I'll get to Bo DeMayo's responses, or his lawyer's responses, in just a moment. Andy, what are your thoughts thus far?
Incredibly suspicious. When this whole trend, and you and I talked about before, like Bo DeMayo, also left The Witcher because he didn't vibe with The Witcher's writing crew. And
please explain that thoroughly for the audience, if you will.
Yeah, Bo DeMayo worked on season 1 of The Witcher with Henry Cavill, and when things started going sideways, he came out and publicly said, "It's as bad as you think." And he said they actively mock. The writers hate The Witcher source material. They actively mock the source material, and it just cut through the big old lie that Hollywood and the access media were trying to push, that no, they love The Witcher. You're just being, unrealistic. And he's like, no. The fans are right. They hate it. They absolutely hate it. They wish they were writing a different show type stuff. But I think it's this weird thing where the guy's clearly talented because X-Men 97 is like a huge success. But then they started talking about this OnlyFans stuff. And this whole thing is based on insinuation without outright accusation. And so you even look at the headlines. Yep. He was stripped due to how egregious the findings were. Where? Findings on his OnlyFans? What, they don't say egregious content. They're not saying that it was egregious, pictures. It's just egregious findings. And again, you never know, but when it suits the Hollywood elite and when it suits the writers of these magazines and newspapers, they have no problem throwing out half-ass accusations, assuming guilt. The fact that they're just keeping it so vague, I don't think it has anything to do with sexual misconduct. I think he commented on someone else's sexual behavior, and that's the problem. Because that is the one thing that will get you kicked out of Hollywood.
Okay, so break that down for me. You think that D'Amelio potentially commented on someone else's behaviors?
Yeah, I think, again, this is absolute speculation, just kind of reading between the lines on how weird this whole thing's being handled. Because if it was sent inappropriate pictures, that would be in the headlines. Like they would say, it's like under accusations of sending inappropriate pictures. We just saw with, Dr. Disrespect and all these people immediately saying, messaging minors. There's no hesitation in what they say, right? So we know the Hollywood Reporter and all these people have no problem saying like this person was messaging minors, being inappropriate with minors, like actual crimes or things that could be crimes. Now with this, they said that he was reported to HR about something that was, again, found in the OnlyFans, allegedly. Now, but again, there was nothing lewd allegedly in the OnlyFans. And so people can just talk in OnlyFans. And so I'm wondering if in his OnlyFans, he voiced an opinion on maybe somebody else in Hollywood or on things going on in Hollywood or the nature of some of the people that work in Hollywood. And when that was found, because it's behind a paywall, somebody went and, looked it up. They're like, well, that just cannot stand, and he didn't pass the purity check to work in Hollywood.
That's such a good point, man. Because their vagueness, unfortunately left the window open for us to have speculation like this, because
they weren't vague with Jonathan Majors, were they?
They weren't vague. They're never vague with anybody when they really want to get rid of somebody.
Yeah.
That's the point.
And they're vague with this.
Right.
That's
and you really want to get rid of the guy. It's like you're telling everyone, everyone with a brain and people who pay attention, that there's something you're hiding.
And the script of the season 2 credits. Not only is he gone, but they feel he did something that was so damaging to their sensibilities that he can't be credited on something he worked on. Which, like what? And again, like you said with a certain other individual, we know what doesn't bother them, and we do know what does bother them.
Exactly.
But I think they float this so that the initial headline comes out. Decent people assume, oh my goodness, you go to what type of things do we consider immoral or egregious, and that's very different from what Hollywood finds to be egregious. Because Hollywood's tolerance for what the average person thinks is egregious is actually quite high. It's actually their preferred meal.
Yep. Wow. So, Bo DeMayo's lawyer issued statement regarding allegations of DeMayo's firing. My client never sent lewd videos and photos to his direct reporter. My client never sent lewd videos and photos to his direct reports. That is a bald-faced lie and defamatory. No one who reported Bo to HR received an inappropriate photo or video. That's where I'm gonna pause real quick. That's where if you are a major studio, major company, major anything, you just come right out and say, oh, well, this is what happened then. Yeah. And if you would like to further step out of line and speak the way you are, then you can see us in court, whatever, right? And also, I don't think a lawyer would come out and say this. I don't think a lawyer is that dumb.
Where's the leak?
Right.
Everything's leaked. Where's the leak? If you're somebody who hates this guy so much, he sent you something egregious, as the allegation says, where's the leak? Everything's constantly leaked. You'd see it. It'd be everywhere, There was stuff with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. There was stuff with, the Ray Rice photo, the elevator photo was, you could see.
Majors had the video too.
Yeah. So where's,
Yep.
And by the way, not to get too down the weeds, I hate that phrase where there's smoke, there's fire, because if you know anything about starting a friction fire, the smoke comes first, the smoke, this, and that's how I think the media works. They create smoke because people will assume there's fire.
I love that analogy. So continuing on, that is simply untrue. As a proud gay black man, Disney knew exactly who he was and what he stood for. That's why they did not tell him to stop his OnlyFans page. They let him be himself, which allowed his creativity to thrive. When they objected to his free speech rights and not complying with illegal NDAs, a certain person over there tried to replace him because he was becoming more successful than other creators. Ask Disney if his separation agreement illegally silenced him. Let me know what they say. Don't print this crap. It's wrong and defamatory. So he's daring them. He's daring them. Produce something of legality, of context to your terms egregious and your alleged findings. This lawyer has addressed everything, you know, and you got goofies online that are kind of, like you said, the smoke fire. That was a great analogy, by the way. Yeah, exactly. When you build a fire, sometimes you use friction and sometimes smoke happens. And guess what? Sometimes the fire doesn't even start. It's just freaking smoke. And you're just sitting there rubbing the entire time until someone walks up with a match and says, bro, chill.
That's how media warfare and legal warfare work. You know, this judicial warfare is, they know that most people will read a headline and it sticks with you forever. And you see it with so many people right now. There is an accusation and then you're tainted. But the fact that people, I mean, dude, at this time, Disney is undergoing a dispute regarding killing somebody. And they're relying on their terms of service to try and arbitrate it in a third-party arbitration. Like, Disney is not a good company. They're not morally good. They're like a sleazy company. We know what they like, you know? So I don't know why people would give them the benefit of the doubt. Again, especially when they're using language that inspires a lot of feeling without giving any information.
Look, I know that I'm continuing to sound like I'm just beating the same drum over and over again, but if y'all a member, y'all gotta watch that Q&A video. It's gonna drop on Thursday for everybody else, but y'all have to see this video, man, because it's just it was certain points where it's just like, yo, you know that everybody up on that stage wasn't the actual person that was like most responsible for that show. And it's funny because it just comes out in several different points with several different answers, right, that they gave. And it's just like, yo, man, everything that was dope about that show, I think, went out the door when they got rid of this guy. So I'm not excited for season 2. I think that there is going to be doubling down on a lot of the stuff that you know, shouldn't have probably been that big of a deal as it was made to be in the first place, right? Or like that whole morph stuff, right? But then you listen to the Q&A and it's like, yo, I see why they wanted this narrative out there when it probably didn't even have to be one, right? Like there was no reason to mention morph being non-binary at all, right? Just watching the show. Like there was character. Nothing like, in the show. Yeah, it's like, yo, man, I just, which to me was kind of crazy because I'm like, he actually has a form that he uses most of the time.
Right, you know a primary like, form that looks very masculine. Yep, like, yeah, 100%.
Right, like, so what are we doing? You know, but I don't know. It was just something where it was very eye-opening for me, and I think that going forward, if we're gonna be looking forward to this show returning, I think it should be with some trepidation. I'm just gonna be honest.
Do you think we've had like a diversity inflation where being gay is no longer diverse enough? Because, like, I gotta say, like, when he got let go, and I was like kind of shocked because 3 years ago, you would assume with the way Hollywood like reporters talked, he'd be untouchable, you know. they would, protect
Well,
someone.
that particular side of, that quote unquote culture there, that whole entire acronym that I refuse to, this is a lot of letters. Um, that entire acronym, that one in particular seemed to be the most untouchable for a while. You couldn't say anything, and now it's like my man out here all by himself out there on a limb, which is nuts. It seems a bit refreshing because it's like it should be that way, that he should not that he should just be by himself. I'm just saying, like, he shouldn't be untouchable, but at the same time, like, it's like you said, call them out for their hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Right? Because we
remember-
know not too long ago, and with other groups within that same acronym, there are untouchables. What were you gonna say?
I'm just saying, do you remember the absurdity of when the whole stuff was going down with Kevin Spacey and his defense was that he was a gay guy? Like,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like Hollywood's always been shady, but just something has happened that people went through this weird spell of defending everything Hollywood did. And in just the past, it feels like 12 months, people are like, hey, did you know that there's a lot of sleazeballs in Hollywood? And it wasn't just Weinstein. It's like, bro, it's an industry built. And that's why the nice guys stand out.
in their culture.
Like when Keel always say, like, Keanu's like the nicest guy in Hollywood. Yeah, he seems like a legitimately nice guy. It's not like because he's a saint. He just, keeps his head down and doesn't get into trouble.
That dude rides the subway.
Great point, bro.
And that's very good point. And
Keanu Reeves is the J. Cole of Hollywood.
do you think he would have ducked the battle like Jacob? No, I'm just kidding. But
Hey,
yeah,
he had that quote. Hey, if you say that 1 + 1 = 5, hey, you're right, bro. I'm going on with my day. He would have
ducked it. He would have been like, whatever.
Hey, whatever, bro. I lost.
Just kill his dog.
Cool. Right, facts.
But yeah, it's it is you do see the nice guys kind of bubble up to the surface, and then they get chastised, they get thrown to the way, they pretty much get destroyed as if they are the ones who are enthusiasts of certain things, and as if they're the Weinsteins of the world, hopefully, Keanu never suffers from this. I would say he'd be one guy that I would think, but because he keeps his head down and kind of is in his own corner of Hollywood, I don't think people touch him. Ryan Reynolds seems to be kind of not all the way that way, but he seems to be one that's kind of building towards that, right? Because he's kind of pissing off people in Hollywood. You know what I mean?
And so there was a hot minute there with Deadpool where they were trying to go after Ryan Reynolds. They're trying to pull that whole rock thing on him. There's articles he just took things over, and they saw it wasn't trending. They're going after his wife. You see all the backlash against Blake?
No.
They're pulling up an article.
Yes. Okay, so see, and because I'm not like inundated with the information, the way I kind of glanced at it was, are they attacking Blake's co-star? They're not. They're attacking her.
And they're the big thing. So they're picking up all this stuff from like 2016, and an interview where she made the interviewer feel small. I'm like, bro, like, let's not pretend like Hollywood interviewers aren't sometimes dicks. But regardless of that, bro, their most recent one was they're upset because with the co-star, apparently they had two different visions for the film, and they're accusing her of bringing in Ryan Reynolds to help sway everybody. Like, Ryan's on my side because he apparently wrote one of the scenes in the movie she was just in. And so it's like, at first you think it's an attack on Blake, but it's really an attack on both of them to try and be like, they're this power couple that's just being mean to everybody. And I'm like, we talked about it, all the three of us, on a Thursday night one night. And I'm like, bro, if you work for Netflix, it seems like the gloves are off. Anybody who's doing like big deals with Netflix has lost any protectionism, and everything is treated with suspicion and malice.
Yeah, like I'm glad you said that, because that's true. The whole, we know the whole Bo DeMeo situation, and Netflix The Witcher, but like even something like that aside, there seems to be a consistency of, because okay, before I finish that thought, it just seems like Netflix is not Hollyweird. They probably have some guys in there that are Hollywood, like there's some producers, but by and large, the culture is not Hollyweird, and so they're fair game. They've been fair game for quite a long time.
It's the Tesla of entertainment, dude. Yeah, it's in an industry, but it's a tech industry, and so they're a disruptor. They're viewed, as the outsider. So even though they all make movies, it's like, yeah, but you're not making movies like we do, so that's a problem.
Right. Hey, you even see it with people trying to downplay Zach's work on Netflix, and they like trying to act like Netflix just isn't a platform that Zach should be on. And it's like, bruh, pull up to one of these screenings and see that shit theatrically. You know what I mean? Like, they happen, bro.
Acting like Netflix isn't worth more than Disney right now. Like,
bro, Disney and Warner Brothers combined, damn near, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, definitely Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers is only worth what, 17 or 18? Yeah, like
$5 in some land.
But no, like Netflix is like worth like I think what, 250, 300, and everybody's always like, well, that's the market cap. Yeah, well, that's an indication of consumer confidence. Now, isn't it?
Listen, I'm gonna say this real quick to Mama Bear. I call BS on this. I've met too many of y'all to know this to be. That's just a myth that Hollywood has projected that all y'all are not. But let me get Canada out of my mouth before Deadpool shows up. You dig? If you know, you know.
Bro, I mean, do you remember when they were going after Henry Cavill a couple years ago? When he made that statement about it being hard to date because of the climate of the whole Me Too stuff. And all he was saying is like, you need to be careful. And they're like, oh, what, you can't date women without assaulting? I was like, that is not what he's saying. Like, that was
said right before you even got it out of your mouth, because I knew you were gonna say that, bro. That was one of the most, that pissed me off so much, because it goes to the dang it, I'm gonna do it, aren't I? The Aziz Ansari situation. I don't give a shit.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That was such bullshit, man. I'm gonna throw them in the same basket. It's like Henry's just talking about the difficulty of dating and being a powerful man. Like, simply put, you're a target. It's that simple. And anybody could say,
they act like there's no precedence for that, Leon, right?
Right.
Yeah. Like,
there's just none.
What are you talking about?
Right. And he says this, and he's saying basically like any normal gesture can be spun into something different. And it doesn't even have to hold up in court or hold up to the court of public opinion. The fact that the opinion is out there is enough for it to be damaging for something, right? Then you get an Aziz, who is the epitome of what Henry was hinting at and illustrating. He went on a date, and it's so funny. Like, he went out with her, they went back to his place, then they went back out again same night, then they came back to his place, and a lot of teasing occurred, and then she was like, I'm just gonna do this thing for you, with mouth, and he's like, cool. And then they sleep together, actually like in the same freaking bed. Then they wake up the next day, everything's fine, and then like however long later, days later, I'll just say, oh, I feel a way. Like, come on, man. So yeah, like, I don't know how the hell we got to this part of the show, but
Chappelle joked about that. Do you remember the episode where he had the contract?
Hey, it's the love contract.
The love.
Oh yes.
Yeah, bro.
Because of Chappelle, I always joke about that. Like, if I make it out there in the world, that's definitely gonna be I've never understood. I don't know. Okay, so we're on this weird sidetrack, right? Fuck it, we're here. I've never understood why celebrities don't hire someone to vet the women they're about to date, right? Do an entire background check, or just pluck someone from obscurity, right? do an entire background check, have them sign a bunch of stuff, and then date them. Like, why don't you do that?
It was like when what's his name from the Texans?
Where's the romance, Leon?
Yeah, where's the romance? What's the guy from the Texans? Oh my gosh. He plays for the Browns now, the quarterback. Deshaun Watson. And he was, I'm pretty sure it was him, and he was getting massages in women's houses. And you're like, bro, where are his boys to be like, bro, don't do that. Like, we'll go to the misuse and we'll have like a witness. Bro, you're making too much money to be showing up at people's houses you're meeting on Instagram. You're crazy. Don't do that.
Why? Yes. Yeah. So wait, did that actually happen?
I think a lot of them was at one of the shops too. But yeah, man, it's just if they want you, they'll come and get you, bro.
I'd be recording everything. Like,
We're a cop.
Terrence Howard did. You heard about that, right?
What's that?
Yeah.
Terrence Howard.
Oh no, what happened recently with Terrence Howard?
Well, no, he had a situation. I don't remember the exact details, but it was someone he was with. I think was it an ex-wife, Sky?
Yeah, it was one of his exes, or no, I think it was just
ex-lover or something.
Yeah.
Well, he recorded like literally all their encounters, and if not for that, shout out to Personal Corn, CORN. So shout out to Personal Corn.
Yeah.
If not for that, the brother would have been. We wouldn't know Terrence Howard. How about that?
Bro, that's so funny. It's like she thinks you're being freaky, but you're just sitting there getting your ducks in the row. It's like, do you mind if I film this? It's like, oh, this guy's crazy. It's like he's
sexy.
so legally minded,
T's crossed, I's dotted.
Why are you working out all the time? Because I know this is gonna be in court one day. I don't want people laughing at me,
Facts.
Right.
She's like, what? Huh? What?
Yeah.
I'm just preparing for the future. I'm kind of like a doomsday prepper. Yeah, right.
Facts. Oh man. So this show has been dope. Let's everybody put your final thoughts, your comments, your questions, your whatever you got for us in the comments section. And chat, I appreciate you guys hanging out and hanging with us. This has been rather short for us. We usually go the long haul, but this is great. Guys, what are your final thoughts on the, I guess, kind of the through line thesis of it all, the mouse trap, a Disney problem? We've been kind of kicking that mouse's ass this whole show. So what you guys think?
Wait, I'll go first because I want Andy to have the last word. He been cooking.
Yeah, I was about to say he's been cooking tonight, y'all.
You know what I'm saying?
He's been cooking.
So let me go first. I'll say that Disney is in a weird position, but they're there because of themselves. A lot of this stuff could have been mitigated if they made better choices, not even just with one of their franchises, but with the majority of them, right? They've kind of dropped the ball on Star Wars, Marvel, just all of the Lucasfilm stuff, but also with them, with a lot of these remakes, right? That they've been kind of focusing on the wrong things as they've been being made. It's just needlessly divisive, right? Like the Black Little Mermaid, which I will keep telling this story. My mom, when she first saw that, she just said black, right? Like that. That's literally all she was saying, and that's her favorite Disney movie. And it was even kind of jarring for her seeing a black Ariel. She's like, "What the hell? Like, why?" So. They've just been doing this thing of like needlessly pandering when they do not have to, and they should have been
surprisingly good movie though,
right? Oh, I didn't see it. My mom didn't watch it either. That was the
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. A lot of people did because of that, and I wouldn't have if not for a situation. I'll just call it that. and she had it on, and I was just like, "What the hell? I don't want to watch this." No, it's good. I watched it. I was like, "Oh, okay." That actually was not bad at all, actually. But I see why people didn't watch it.
Yep. And normally she would have went to the theater for that and saw it once or twice, right? Absolutely. But because of that, even she was like, yo, I don't really feel like I need to watch this. So they've dropped the ball on several fronts. They could have been focusing on maybe giving us some of that fan service, which I say is customer service, right? Like all you're doing is servicing your customers and your fan base, and it really kind of makes them feel good about this transaction, because it is a transaction, right? We are giving you our hard-earned dollars, and you are giving us entertainment that we want to engage with, right? That is how this thing works. And when they have instead chosen to focus on things like DEI and having some of these writers trying to take over and hijack some of these stories, we just kind of continue to see this downward spiral. So hopefully, with these recent films kind of making a whole lot of noise and doing what they're supposed to do in terms of financials, as well as bringing excitement back into these franchises. I think, because look, even honestly, Deadpool 2 didn't expand the Deadpool franchise like that, right? It pretty much did exactly what the first one did, or maybe less, if I'm not mistaken. And then, yeah, and it hadn't really been talked about like that since. That's why we've had such a long time coming to get to this third film. So, um, you know, with all of those things kind of being added up, I think that it would be smart of them to pivot. We've heard about them kind of firing a lot of their activist writers, but then at the same time, after that damn X-Men 97 panel, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. Right? And so it's, yeah. We're gonna have to take a wait and see approach, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna have my eyes on this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate everything you just said, for sure, man. Andy, final thoughts.
Shout out to that line from Sky, man. Like, you know, fan service is customer service. When you said that last night, I'm pretty sure like I physically fist bumped. I was like, that needs to be on a t-shirt. That's so good. And that's the root of it, man. Like, Sky's absolutely right. And I hate the term woke because it doesn't do justice to what we're seeing, and it feeds into their like nonsense of like woke versus anti-woke, and that's not what's going on. But I mean,
Right.
like we've been jokingly saying, like they're caught themselves between like a rock and a woke place, because they've driven away all the people that are just normal and want to be entertained. Like guys talking about people that want that transaction of money for entertainment, and all they're left with are those activists. And just a friendly reminder, man, activists don't spend money. Their currency is outrage. And it is a progressive ideology. Whatever you make today will be judged and ridiculed tomorrow for not being activists enough, not being woke enough. And so now they've got nowhere else to go. You can't write a story without pissing someone off. And this is what happens. You have nowhere to go. And the films that are succeeding just said, we're just not going to do it. Deadpool, we're just not going to do it. We understand what you want from us. It's impossible to be entertaining and do that. We're just doing a wink and nod at how silly that is, and we're just not going to do it. And it turns out it's really easy to make money. And so the question is, like, I don't know if Disney can work their way back, because, I mean, does anybody trust them? I mean, Ryan Reynolds alone has more social currency than the entirety of Disney. And that's without all these people that he's putting in that are likable. So, I mean, that's all I had, is just, I think you and I talked about it last night, is these are unspectacular people. And when you have no value to offer, you hold yourself up to the actions of people that lived in a different era and be like, well, I'm better than they are with my modern sensibilities. And it's not a fair comparison. And I think
when you're only better than them because you weren't there.
Yep, exactly. So that's what I got.
Fantastic. Man, I really appreciate this panel. I don't think this show could have been what it was without this particular panel. You guys, including Katie, Andy, laughing. No, but yeah, no. Like everybody that contributed to this panel today, you guys had a great perspective from, especially with your knowledge of all the actual franchises, and me being kind of the guy who has to watch this stuff, or like I'll never watch the Acolyte, like it's not happening. But no, I appreciate it. This was just kind of like a baby born out of nowhere. I literally was just in my car and I was just like, wow, I see a thesis here. I'm just gonna roll with it. Maybe it'll be a cool show. Maybe it'll be something people want to delve into. And maybe it'll be something that inspires more channels and more people to have this discussion, because the important part of this discussion for me is that people need to kind of, not to be cliche, but wake up to what's actually happening. Our entertainment isn't just being made to entertain us anymore. It's not. Because if that were the case, I'm not saying we'd necessarily get any and everything we ever wanted, but we would definitely get more of the things that we want, because Hollywood, Holly whatever, Holly knows that we'd buy it, but they're not trying.
Yep.
They'd much rather manufacture something with an agenda and try to shove it down our throats and then tell us we're weird, we're amoral, and we're misogynist and bastards for not liking it. And I think y'all need to do this.
What the hell? Lone white rabbit. What do I say?
Yeah, man. Wake up. Wake up. That being said, chat, Nu Geekz, we must bid you adieu until next time.